Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. First and foremost, I'd like to thank everybody for taking a bit of time out of your day to attend today's webinar. I realize everybody's trying to wrap up things for the holidays, so I really appreciate your time. My name is Billy Wilson, and I'm a solutions architect with Cireson. And during this session, I'm going to show you tips for installing and optimizing the Cireson portal within your environment to maximize productivity and efficiency, as well as showcase some key features and functionality, and at the end of it, some other Cireson products to help you prepare for success. I'll also highlight some portal enhancements, including how to build intelligence into your incident and service request offerings, how to design custom dashboards, and more. So let's get a bit of housekeeping out of the way. This is a non-interactive webinar, so please post any questions that you may have into the GoToWebinar questions panel on the right-hand side. And my lovely assistant, Michael, who is here on this call with me, will try to answer any questions he can answer right then and there. Otherwise, he'll queue them up for the Q&A session at the end of the webinar. And any questions that we can't answer right away off the top of our head, I will be happy to follow up by email. We'll also be recording today's webinar, so if you have to drop out or if you want to be able to show your colleagues or something like that later, then this recording will be available in a day or so out on our Vimeo team site and vimeo.com. So just go to vimeo.com and search for Team Cireson, and not only will you get today's recording, but all of the webinars that we previously had and recorded. There's a lot of great stuff out there. A lot of great technical how-tos, best practices, and a lot of information on new and upcoming stuff that we have coming around the bend. All right, let's go over to the agenda. Today, I'm going to start with an overview of who we are at Cireson and what we do. We'll take a look at some best practices for setting up the Cireson portal. We'll look at how to manage work items on the fly and really showcase the agility of the Cireson portal from any browser, any type of device. We'll show you how to design and build custom dashboards with our new dashboard app, which makes creating reports and dashboards a lot easier. We'll show you how to build intelligence into your incident and service requests offerings using dynamic forms. We'll show you a bit of customization from the portal standpoint. We'll also take a look at how to use one of our apps, Service Manager with Microsoft Outlook, which I think you're going to find, if you haven't seen it before, it's a huge application and a great help to the business. Then we'll go over, our resources that we have available and what's next. And I think you're going to want to stick around for that because we have a couple of things coming up that you're going to be really interested in. And then at the very end, we'll have an open Q&A where we'll read the questions and try to get the answers as best we can. Okay, so who is Cireson? Cireson was born in 2012, and all we had for an idea was we wanted to be the best and the brightest and the forward thinkers on all things Microsoft Cloud and System Center. We provide solutions for service and asset management, and now coming soon, Configuration Manager. We'll go over that a bit in a few minutes. And we also provide world-class consulting team, some of the smartest men and women on the planet. And we also have a partner, and community enablement team that we really enacted so we could bring Cireson closer to our partners and those in the community who are really on this journey with us. So let's take a look at the Cireson solutions. We started out mostly with service and asset management, building apps for the service manager side. And we just recently realized that we have enough innovation and creativity that we don't need to stop there. So we have really put all of that energy and all of that intelligence and creativity into bringing apps to Configuration Manager with the same level of dedication and giving you the same type of convenience and the same type of agility to the config man world that we bring to the service manager world. We started out with 4 or so free apps that really made everybody's life a little easier in using Configuration Manager, but we are also bringing a web portal, and I'll go into that a little later, and then we'll be bringing in many more apps as we develop along. We also have a password reset system that's a pretty simplistic, easy to use self-service portal to be able to reset your Active Directory password. And our platform works just as great on premises as it does in the cloud. As a matter of fact, when we get to the demo portion of this, everything I'll be showing you will be in a Service Manager environment in the cloud, so in Azure. So you'll see that it's really, really dynamic stuff. So Cireson, our customers are in 63 countries currently around the world and adding more every day. We have a ton of experience out there, a ton of consulting hours, and the really cool thing is we have a 99% renewal rate, which means our customers stick with us because they love our apps, they love our service, and they love our support. One of the things I want to point out right here is some of the accolades that we've gotten, you know, and most of these have been this year. So we've received accolades from Inc. 500, from Deloitte, the CIO Review, and the San Diego Business Journal. And along those lines, we actually have worked really hard to achieve software asset management gold level competency from Microsoft themselves. So we're doing everything we can to make sure that we stay on the leading edge of these things and really want to bring the experience and the usability of these applications to you. So let's talk about the self-service portal a little bit. The number one thing that seems to be kind of the value of the self-service portal is it's free now. Our self-service portal was designed to kind of fill the gaps that the original Microsoft out-of-the-box SharePoint Silverlight self-service portal tended to leave, and Microsoft this year, with just before Service Manager 2016, released their self-service portal from an HTML5 format, just like the one that we had done. So we figured, as a service to our customers and a service to the community, we were going to go ahead and make the self-service portion, the end-user portion, free. And we've seen a lot of positive reaction on that. So included in the self-service portal is an integrated HTML knowledge base. So instead of having to stick with rich text format, we give you the ability to go full HTML to embed videos, embed images, do hyperlinks, and really have the ability to create, edit, and search. We have out-of-the-box dashboards. So even though we have a dashboard builder as part of our analyst version of the panel, we still provide some really rich out-of-the-box dashboards in our community version that are very useful. Adaptive display. This one is actually pretty huge, and I'll be demonstrating what this looks like in the demo. But with the release of our version 6, we've built in adaptive design so that the web portal is just as functional and just as easily usable from a smartphone or a tablet than it is from a desktop monitor or a laptop monitor. What we wanted to do is give you the ability to use our portal anywhere at any time. So other popular features that we have, of course, the browser is, or the web portal is completely browser agnostic, and you can use it on mobile devices. We make it fairly easy to customize the portal, and we even have a new theme builder that we're about to release, and I'll show you a little bit of that later. We utilize a cache builder database as part of our portal install to help really make response times within the portal a lot faster. We have great web architecture that is built behind the scenes on this thing to be able to make it not only very responsive and very resource usable, but also to be able to customize it quite well as you can. We have the ability to do forms authentication or Windows authentication based on how you want to set up your infrastructure. We've integrated announcements in our portal, and we actually have a new feature that I'm going to go ahead and bring up right now. In our 7.2 release, which actually released yesterday, we have a watch list that you can be able to put work items on, and we also have the ability with our integrated announcements to give that functionality to create announcements to users outside of the Service Manager Administrators group. Because up to this point, you had to be a Service Manager Administrator to be able to create and maintain announcements in this portal. But now we give you the ability to designate that to an Active Directory group, and it makes it a lot easier for other people to be able to manage and monitor announcements rather than having to dedicate your Service Manager admin to being able to do this. One of the things I want you to notice is with this watch list, this announcement group, I'm going to talk a little about our Cireson community a little later after the demonstration, and you're going to see where the watch list and the announcement group are really significant from that standpoint. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the best practices to set up the portal. Our web-based portal, it's an IIS portal that we want set up. Our best practices to mandate that you set them up on a management server, Service Manager Management Server. Most people have more than one management server. We do not recommend that you put it on a workflow server. So if all you have right now is a workflow server, it's recommended to go ahead and set it up on a management server, a secondary management server. Setting up the portal installs a SQL database. It's our Cache Builder database. That database we recommend putting on the same SQL instance as your Service Manager CMDB database because it makes the performance a lot better. The hardware specifications you can find those at support.cireson.com and see this knowledge base article. But from a memory standpoint, we recommend at least a minimum of 8 gigs of RAM plus 100 megs of RAM per active concurrent use analyst that you'll have in a 24-hour period. 80 accounts, your local service account, most people use the same service account that they use for Service Manager, and that's just fine. That account needs to be a local admin on that portal server box, and also needs to be an admin within SQL to be able to set up the SQL database. Authentication, again, we have the ability to do single sign-on, Windows-based authentication, or forms-based authentication, depending on how you want to set up your portal. A lot of people will, if they have an internal intranet website, set that up as Windows authentication, and then some people like to have an internet-facing portal for people outside the network to be able to submit incidents or create requests, and they'll use forms-based authentication for that. Another thing I'll show you is our new update and hotfix process for the portal, which is really cool because until this point, every time we had to apply an update or a hotfix, there was a series of steps that you had to go through manually to be able to bring the portal up to the latest version. But now we have a different process, and that's using Click Once. So now we have a Click Once installer. When you install the Cireson portal, it will automatically put a setup shortcut on your desktop and in your start menu, and then anytime you have to update your portal after that to a new version or to apply hotfixes, all you have to do is run that setup again, as long as you have internet access for that server. And if you don't have internet access, you can run it on a separate computer that does have internet access, and we give you the ability to bring the files down manually, the install files down manually to a source and copy them over, and you can go ahead and run it offline. One of the things that we recommend when you're doing an upgrade or an update is to go ahead and back up the service management database and your portals folder within the INET pub directory. By default, that's going to say Cireson portal, but during the install setup you may name it whatever works for your organization. But always recommend backing up before you do an upgrade. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get into the demo and see what this actually looks like. So I'm going to bring up my remote session here. Again, this is Azure-based. This is our cloud trial portal. We make this available to our customers and our potential customers to be able to kick the tires, as it were. So I'm going to go ahead and log in to this cloud trial portal from the point of view of just a regular end user. And this guy's name is Greg W., Greg Winston. One second while I put in the password, and we'll load it up. So again, a pretty easy, pretty HTML5 based, nice little portal that's easy customizable unless you put in your password wrong. And that's pretty much how it's going to go. So as you can see, we have announcements, and our announcements can be themed, that our announcements can have hyperlinks in them that redirect you to another page. So it's really easy to be able to do it that way. You have different options that you can set up for your home page, and not only do we really bring in the role and scope-based security of Service Manager, but we also allow additional security. So you could literally, if you needed to, have a different look and feel from this portal, one portal, for different departments in your environment if that's the way you need to go. So that's one thing that's incredibly handy. We have great search functionality in our portal, so we have the ability to search the knowledge base or catalog directly from the page itself, from within the home page, and then other pages in the navigation pane also have searchability. So what I want to do is go ahead and create a ticket, so just how easy it is. So I'm going to report an issue for this purpose. Pull up our form. You'll notice our forms are pretty straightforward, pretty easy to make, and we also give you the ability to do dynamic forms, and I'll show you that a little later in the webinar. So the title for this issue, I'm going to say email is not working. Describe the symptoms of the issue in detail. So I'm going to do a really detailed version of this. Email will not work, as you're used to seeing really detailed information like that. We'll select the category, email problems. We'll do the urgency, and if you are one of those organizations that wants to give your end users the ability to do urgency, be warned, it's probably always going to be high. We'll give you in this form, you can do additional contact. You can attach work items to it, or attach files to it. But here, this is what we have new in the new 7.2 version, is the ability to add other people to a watch list so they have the ability to see and keep an eye on this ticket that I'm about to submit. So for the purposes of this one, I'm going to go ahead and select Don Funk as our watcher and go ahead and hit save. And then you'll notice it takes me directly to my requests, and these are all the requests that this end user has submitted, and so they can see where they're at in the process. They could, with one click, open up the incident or request, see where the information is, check out the action log. They can add a comment if they need to. They can add more file attachments if they need to. And they can also add more people to the watch list if they need to, which is really handy. Another thing I want you to notice about this, my requests, is I have incidents and service requests all in the same list. So I don't have to have a separate list for incidents, a separate list for service requests, and try to figure out which is where in this portal. It's all here. The other thing we have the ability to do, and this is exclusive to our portal versus the out-of-the-box portal, is we have the ability to associate your end users to groups via Active Directory groups. That way, not only can they see the requests that they've submitted, but they can also see requests that their teammates have submitted. So you'll notice that this mobile device request right here was actually submitted by another user named Kevin K. But because we're part of the same team, I can see this. Now, one of the places that's really going to come in handy is, like, let's say you're a member of the finance department and your ERP system's gone offline. So you're coming to this home page and you're going to report this incident, but maybe you go to team requests first and find out that one of your colleagues in finance has already submitted a report, or maybe 2 or 3 of them have already submitted a report. So it makes no sense for you to go ahead and create a duplicate ticket. That gives you the ability to see, you know, not only that somebody has already reported it, but to, you know, not overload the system with a bunch of redundant issues and tickets. You also get the ability to see any work that's assigned to you, and from an end user perspective, that's usually going to be a review activity. So you'll be able to see and approve any review activities from here. So I get all the information that I need. Come down, I can log in, I can go ahead and approve it, say OK, click yes, save it, or apply it, and now that approval is done from my point of view. I mentioned earlier our knowledge base. We have an HTML5 based knowledge base. Again, another search function within this page, whereas you could still have the search function up here. We have the ability to categorize our knowledge base and be able to set them up to browse by category. Easily clickable. But the biggest value in our knowledge base is with the HTML5 versus the rich text, we give you the ability to make your knowledge base articles a lot more usable. So we give you the ability to put in hyperlinks, to be able to click directly to other sources. We give you the ability to embed videos. So this video, I'm going to go ahead and start it. It's being hosted on our Vimeo website. So I could watch this video directly from this knowledge base article. And again, we have the ability to embed images and also the ability to include analyst content. So as an end user, if I scroll all the way down, all I have the ability to do at the end was to rate this article and determine whether or not it's helpful. If I were logged in as an analyst and there were additional analyst content, I could see that additional content down here. So we're talking about the same knowledge base article, so you don't have to do double the work. You don't have to have an analyst knowledge base article and an end user knowledge base article. It could be the same one, but you can just have analyst content where only the analyst can see it. Another really cool thing about our knowledge base is the fact that if you set up your content in like a Word format where you have title, header 1, header 2, and sections like that, when you save the knowledge base article, it'll automatically generate a clickable table of contents. So that's another really cool feature that I like about our knowledge base. So let's take a look at our dashboards. These are the out-of-the-box dashboards that come with the self-service portal. These are pretty rich. They have charts. They have, you know, straight incident analysis, average resolution time, trending information. A lot of really, really cool stuff in here just straight out of the box. And even though you don't have the dashboard builder with just the community version, that you can add more stuff in here. You just got to do it by hand, manually, using some JavaScript and some custom HTML. But we do have rich knowledge base, and I'll tell you what, when you see the dashboard builder, you're gonna really like the way that looks. So let's take a look at what it looks like from an analyst portal. So what I'm doing is I'm logging out, and I'm going to log in as an analyst. I'm going to log in as Don F, because you'll notice that I made him on the watch list, added him to the watch list of that ticket earlier. Okay, this URL has not changed. So it is the exact same portal for analysts as it is for end users. It's just because I have permissions as an analyst, now I have a lot more things that I can do in the nav view and a lot more things I can see and a lot more activity. So I don't have to host from an infrastructure standpoint two separate portals. It's the same portal for the end user or the analyst. I just have the ability to do more things because I'm an analyst in this. So I'm taken directly when I log in as an analyst to the My Work view. So this is all work items that are directly assigned to me. And one of the things that you're going to notice is, again, all different types. I have problems, I have change requests, I have manual activities, I have incidents, all in this one area. So I can click on an incident, go ahead and work this incident. So I have the ability to set the classification if it's different, change the support group, add an action log entry. I have the ability to see any activities, the related items that I want to look at, including the watch list, resolution activity, history, of course. By default, it's not shown, but when you do show it, you see a lot of changes, everything that's been done. It's a lot more descriptive in the history than it is in the default console, which is one of the things I really like about it. One of the other things that you can add to this console are customized tasks that analysts can use. So I have these are out of the box: send email, print, add a manual activity, but you can add more tasks in as an administrator. As a matter of fact, the print feature didn't show up until version 6, I believe. So as an out-of-the-box activity, before it was a custom task that we provided the code for on our website. The ability to do a send email directly from within the incident, and of course, see the other things. So I'm going to jump down here to watch list. We're going to leave that. And you're going to notice that the email is not working ticket is in my watch list because as Greg, I added Don Funk to this email. So now I have the ability to see directly anything that's in my watch list. Again, functionality that was added in our latest release. So not only do I have the ability to see my work, I also have the ability to see any work that's assigned of any of the support groups that I'm affiliated with, or any of the active work, all open tickets that are out there, and I can even show activities or even show inactive work items. Again, you're going to see the beauty of having all different work item types in this one grid view, and that's all of our grid views in our portal. So we make it easier to get to all your stuff instead of having to click around. We also give you the ability to easily sort or even filter your views based on the criteria you want. And we also give you the ability to go ahead and group just by dragging and dropping based on status, based on category. You can do this as many times as you want. And using persistent grid view, which is what we have built in, every time I log back into this browser session, this view will stay until I change it. So that's another thing that's really handy. So from a usability standpoint, you know, this keeps me from having to have a console installed on every device I'm ever at. You know, from a level 1 service desk, you know, your life is generally spent behind a ticketing system. So, you know, mobility is not really a concern to you. But from a desktop support level on up, you never know where you're going to be. So the ability to be able to get to your ticketing system, to your service management system from any place is really a huge win. And I can show you what that looks like from a mobile device standpoint. So I'm going to go ahead and share my mobile device using my mobile device system. You're going to see it come up. So right now you're going to see directly I'm on the home page. This is the same home page for the same portal that we're on now. So I have the ability to see, I can go to my work. You can see that it's actually pretty responsive. So I can see all the work items that I have, I can open up the work item. Again, pretty responsive. I can come in here, change the source, change the system, add an action log, working on it, save it, all from my smartphone. I mean, it's very easy to use. I can get to any component that you can see, the dashboards, everything directly from here. Home page, all of it. So it's just, you can see here that it's just as easy to use from a smartphone as it is from my desktop or laptop monitor. Okay. I have the ability to do work item search, which is really handy because searching for work items inside the console has never been fun. It's kind of a pain to do. So I have the ability to either search all work items or simply search incidents. And so for the purposes of this, I'm going to go ahead and search support group equals desktop support. Go ahead and check it out. Oh, here are all my desktop support tickets. And if I want to, I can save this search, and I'm going to call it desktop support IRs. So now, instead of having to set up the search again, this is going to be available to me anytime I need it. Another cool thing is if I decide that this search that I created might be useful to other members of my team or just other members that are people that are using this in general, I can have my SESM administrator make this available using security permissions to everybody, not just me. So that's also pretty handy. I can create work items directly from the portal. So, we have other ways to create work items, but we also can create work items directly from the portal, which makes things a little easier. For our purposes, I'm going to go ahead and create a change request. So I'm going to create this change request from a template. So you can see with the template, I already have a lot of things filled in. I have the ability to quickly assign it to me. So now you can scroll down and see that it's assigned to me. In the planning phase, I have the ability to go ahead and schedule it just like the out-of-the-box console. So I'm going to schedule it for today at 12, let's make it 11 p.m. and then have it done today at 12 a.m. or let's just make it 11:30 p.m. I can also see all the activities that are associated with this. So not only do I not have to go into the console to deal with the activities, I don't have to double click and have a completely separate form. I just have to click the little caret and it maximizes, and I can see all the activities that are associated with this and make any adjustments that I need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And you can see that this change request was now saved. Another thing that we have available in our analyst portal is calendars. So I can go into my calendar and I can see in a calendar format that change request I just created was scheduled. So I know that on the 13th I have this scheduled, and all I have to do is click on it and it pulls it up. So that's really handy to have, especially if you are using it for a change management system. You can see all work items that are assigned directly to you or work items that are assigned to support groups that you're a member of. And you also have the ability to add other calendars, like just a full view of all change requests that you could probably make available to your change management system, your CAB, or anybody really that you want to make these available for. So you can see as an analyst, there's a lot of things you can do here. Again, you have the knowledge base, you have a few more dashboards perhaps as an analyst than you would have as an end user. So let's take a look at how to create a dashboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log out from the analyst and log in as an administrator. So now as an administrator, I have the ability to do so many more things. You're also going to notice that if I'm an asset manager and I have asset rights and you're using Cireson Asset Management, that's also exposed to the portal, analyst portal, and you can work on asset. So I'm going to go into our navigation settings, which is all the pages you see on this side and on the inside. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come into the search, my searches, and remember I told you that your admin can make this available to other people. I'm going to go ahead and make this public, this desktop IR searches, so it's available to everybody for the purposes of this demo. Then I'm going to go into the dashboards, work items, click on work items, scroll up, and I'm going to create a new page. And I'm going to call this new page Custom Dashboards. And just for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to make it, I can either make it public or I can assign it directly to AD groups, but I'm going to make it public just for grins. So now I can go into dashboards and you see my custom dashboards is already there. So I'm going to click on that page. Now I have the ability to set the layout, and here are options for the layout. For my purposes, I'm going to pick the tri-column layout. Click close, and then you can see them here. And I have the ability to add content. And these are widgets. So we have different types of widgets. We have SQL chart widgets, which are based on a SQL database query. We have a table widget. Work item count widget will just basically show you a big number of work items based on a saved search. A table of work items based on a saved search. You can set up plain text or HTML in there if you need information to be set up inside of this dashboard page for whatever reason. And then a chart based on a saved search. So we have two ways of exposing information from Service Manager into this dashboard. One is using SQL queries directly, and one is using a saved search. So for the purposes of the first one, we're going to go ahead and do a chart widget based on a saved search. So I can right now either move this over here if I don't want it here, so I can move this around anywhere I want to, and then I can configure it. I'm going to call this Desktop Support IR since I'm going to base it off of that saved search. Now you'll notice that that Desktop IR search exists. I'm going to group this by category for these purposes, and for chart type, I like pie charts, so I'm going to do pie charts. Here I also have the option to make this chart actionable, so if you click into it, it'll do a drill down. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that and hit apply. Automatically you can see that everything shows up and exists. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Now if I click into this, you'll notice that the scroll bar got shorter, and so if I scroll down, hey, here's the actual list of that section of the pie chart. And of course, if I click into that, it will take me directly to that actual work item. So you have drill down capability. But you can see how easy it was to create that custom dashboard. I didn't have to be an HTML guru. I didn't have to be a JavaScript guru. All I had to do was create a saved search for those purposes. So let me show you, we also have the ability, I'm going to add another content, and this time I'm going to do a SQL table widget based on a SQL query. Go ahead and edit that. I actually have a SQL query prepared for this. So I'm going to copy the SQL, and I'm going to call this work items by user. Actually, work items is 2 words. I've been working with Service Manager for years now, and I still forget the work items is supposed to be 2 words. And I'm going to go ahead and apply, and now you can see that the SQL is available. If I wanted to do the same thing and make a chart, I could do this, pull this over and add it over here, call it work items by user, same SQL query, do a group by affected user, and I'm going to make this a bar chart, and I can also make it drill downable, and then I can see all these different ones, and if I click in one, again, I get that list. So again, you see how simple it is to use with this dashboard. Right now, this dashboard pulls data directly from the Cireson Service Manager database, but using SQL, you can use other data sources such as the Service Manager database, if that's where you want to get information for, because it's on the same instance. If you use link servers in SQL, you can get to other data sources, and we are actually coming out with a new version of this later on that will give you the ability to select your data source, so you're not limited to what's already there. So be on the lookout for that. So that's our custom dashboard. So I can go ahead and save this, and now I have this custom dashboard page that I can make available to anybody, managers, supervisors, analysts, end users, whoever I want it to be, so they can get information on the fly and not have to wait for reports or try to download anything to Excel or do it that way. And I didn't, like I said, I did not have to be a web guru to be able to get this done, which is one of the things that we at Cireson work to bring you all the time. Not only innovation in web content, but the ability to create it yourself without having to rely on highly specialized technology or training. So let's take a look at our advanced request offerings, our dynamic request offerings. So I'm going to log out of this, and I'm going to log back in as Greg, our end user. So Greg's going to come in here, and I'm going to come down to this asset request offering. So if I'm coming here, I want to select a computer type. So right now, you're going to see the only questions I have in this form are select a computer type, the business justification, and the urgency. So let's see what happens when I click on standard Apple iPhone. Hey, now it asks me if I want a case for a mobile device. Let's say I decide to go ahead and click on the Lenovo Light laptop. Now it's asking me to select the printer I want with it and ask me if I would like a docking station. So I have the ability to create questions that only show up based on the answers to previous questions. And that's really huge because, without that ability, for the ease of use for my end users, to be able to give my end users the ability to request a mobile phone or to request a laptop, I would really want to do it in 2 separate forms, because that way all the information, since all the questions are exposed, all the questions I would want to be relevant to that particular request. Here, because I have the ability to do dynamic, I don't have to have 2 forms, I can only have 1, and then you can see that on the home page, now I don't have to have a ton of different forms that people have to figure out which one they need to get what they want. We can make it a little easier. Let's see what that looks like in the console. So in our request offerings, we have our publish request offering. So I'm going to pull up asset request, and I'm going to pull it up with the default request offering editor. So you're going to see here are my user prompts, all the questions I asked. All of them will be will show up on that form. I have the ability to configure them. When I map these prompts out of the box, I only have the ability to map one question to one field in one work item template. So if I were to map, let's say I were to come to notes and I were to map business justification to the notes field, that would be gone. I couldn't map it to not only any other field in this template, but any other field in any of the other templates. So let's see what it looks like with our advanced request offering. So I'm going to edit advanced request offering, and you're going to notice right off the bat, okay, now I have more options. So the first option you're going to see is I have the ability to actually create this request offering as a direct link to another web page. And I can either expose the web page as a URL within the form page, or I can have it automatically redirect to whichever one I want. So let's see what that looks like. So if I come over to the community forum, this is actually a request offering. You know, whereas I click on asset request to go to a forum, if I click on community forum, it takes me to our community forum. So the great thing about that is that gives you the ability to expose your other intranet websites to one portal. This Cireson self-service portal. So if you have another web-based web portal to be able to request paid time off, or if you have a web-based project server, or any other type of web server that is being, you know, maintained by a different department or what else, you can expose that within here so your end users have a one-stop shop to be able to get to anything they need. So that is truly handy. So the next thing you're going to notice, again, we still have all the same questions asked, but if I come to the layout section, I have the ability to show or set when these questions are going to be shown. So we've had this select computer type, and you can see it's always going to be shown because that's a base question, but I can come into select a printer and show it when one of the selections for select a computer contains one of these options. So it's set to show when true. So this question, select a printer, will only show up when the selection for select a computer type is a printer option or a laptop option and not a mobile phone option. Whereas in the mobile device case, I can show when select a computer contains one of these mobile device options. So this is how you build your dynamic forms. The other thing we have the ability to do, one of the things that you're going to notice that was really a big plus in our portal versus the out-of-the-box portal was the fact that we had everything on one page and you weren't forced to have only a certain amount of questions per page and have to click next, 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 submit. But we recognized that there are situations where you may want to introduce paging on purpose so you can, you know, kind of segment out your forms based on logical groupings. For example, if you're building an onboarding request offering form, maybe you want to have one page say user information, the second page say requested equipment, and the third page say additional information, or so on and so forth. We give you the ability to add pages in and then pick which questions show up in that page. So you can stick with one page or you can have more than one page. So again, in this new release that just came out yesterday, 7.2, now we have the ability to allow the watch list to show up. So what will happen is if you are on one page, then at the end of the page you have the ability to add users to the watch list for that particular request, or if you have paging, it'll just show up as the last page in that offering. So, you know, we gave you the option, instead of, you know, having the watch list, making the watch list mandatory in every, or available in every request offering, we gave you the option to be able to pick and choose where you want to set a watch list, because sometimes it may not be necessary. So this is the other part that is really huge about our analyst portal and our advanced request offering. We give you the ability to set up multiple mapping directly within the request offering. So I can come down here to the description and I can add some text in and then drop the answers to prompts into that text. So you can see device type, and then it'll show you what was selected for device type. So I can do all that in description. But not only can I do that in description, I can come in here to title and say access request dash select computer type and add the prompt, and that would be the title. So again, you see that that same field, that answer, is available in two different fields in the same template, where out of the box that wasn't available. Once I had used computer type in one, the answer to computer type in one field, it was no longer available to me. Now it's available in multiple fields. Not only that, I could come in here to review activity and go to title and do the exact same thing. Asset request dash, again, I can use the computer type, add it in, and there you go. Here's why that's significant. Before I came to Cireson, I was a service manager administrator at a company in Houston, Texas, where I live, and in order to do this, because one of the things that I got complaints about initially when we had request offerings that required review activities and approval is the approvers didn't like the fact that they had to click into the parent review service request to see all the information they needed. So what I had to do to get around that is use System Center Orchestrator to pull all the information whenever a service request is submitted, pull all the information out of the service request and add those to the review activity and any of the manual activities that were associated with it. So I had to create runbooks to do this. Now we don't need to do that. I can do that directly from the request offering, and that saves a lot of time and is a lot more efficient. So that's what the advanced request offering looks like. And I'll tell you what, if you don't have the advanced request offering now and you have our Cireson self-service portal, you need to get it, because it will make your life so much easier. So let's take a little bit of look at customization. You know, we talked about the customizations and stuff you can do within the portal. This is actually what you're seeing right here from the home page is a customization. Let's see what it looks like out of the box. So I'm going to log in to our out of the box session, and I'm going to log back in as Greg. And you can see out of the box it looks a little different. So the customizations that were made by one of our solutions architects to show you just, you know, how easy it is to do. And all you need is a little bit of custom CSS and maybe some custom forms. I'm going to go ahead and hit never here. So let me show you how that works. Before, with custom CSS, you had to go into the INET-pub page of the portal that you were in the custom space folder. And one of the reasons actually the main reason we use the custom space folder is if you keep all of your customizations in here, they will survive upgrades. And that's big, because it, you know, most people will tell you it's a pain to have to reproduce your customizations every time you do an upgrade or an update to your installation. Here, we use best practices to be able to keep everything in one location and, you know, automatically know that in every upgrade it knows that there's a custom space folder, so it doesn't change anything in it. So you can see there's a custom.css file and there's a custom JavaScript, and you know, we can go into the custom.css file and add content in here manually, which is what a lot of people do to be able to get different looks and feels. But one of the things that we're about to release, and I wanted to show you this to make your life easier, again, what I mentioned earlier is not only do we like bringing you this innovative technology, but we also like creating easier ways for you to be able to do it yourself, like the dashboard builder. So one of the things that we're about to release is the Cireson Portal Themer. This is a website that you can go to be able to create your own custom.css file and just simply add it in here by following a few steps. So I can come down here to the page layout. I can change my content margin size. I can change my colors. So if I decide, nah, blue's not for me, I'm going to go ahead and go to green for this, different color like that. I can have it automatically take the dark variation, or I can uncheck that and create it myself. I can change my link colors. I can change my status, success warning, error colors. I can change all my font sizes and all of that kind of stuff. And then when I have it the way I want it, all I have to do is click this download theme.css. It will generate that CSS file and download it for me. And then according to the directions, all I have to do is drop that into this custom space folder and then open the custom.css file and just add this little bit of code to the top that it has right here available for you to highlight and copy. Very easy to do. I'm not going to do it here because other people do use this console, but again, we make it easier for you to be able to do your customizations straight without having to have a lot of web technology background. So another customization I was going to show you is we give you the ability to customize your forms. So let's say I want to make a field required on my incident form that isn't already required. And all I would have to do is go into the scripts, forms, template folder, grab the incident.javascript, so I'm going to copy that, go back to my custom space folder and drop it in here. And the one thing that's going to happen is when the website form loads, it's first going to check this folder to see if this file exists here. If it does, it's going to load it. If it does not, it's going to go to that default one. So from here, I can edit this with Notepad or Notepad++ that I already have installed on here. Let's cancel that. Close this. Maximize that. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this tab, and you're going to see that out of the box in my incident JavaScript form, I have not only the default, which is what the analyst sees, but the default end user, which is what the end user sees. So if I'm logged in as an end user, let's expand this out, I only see this general tab and this data, watch list, action log, file attachments, so on and so forth. Whereas I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. If I log in as an analyst, now I have more options. So now not only do I have a general tab, but I have an activities tab, a related items tab, and so on and so forth. And so from here, if I decide that the description field needs to be mandatory, I can either type or just copy from this line, required equals true, come down to this line, add it in, save this file, which I'm not going to do because I don't want to change it, and then the next time the form loads for an incident, you're going to see the description field is now required. And you can add more fields. A lot of people add custom enumerations and custom extensions to their work item forms. You can make sure that those get surfaced within the portal quite easily. So that's all it takes. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this so it doesn't load again. So from a customization standpoint, you can see that not only did we make it customizable, but we made it pretty easy for you to customize. So, you know, as a whole, our self-service portal already brings, for no cost, a lot to the table as opposed to what you get out of the box with Service Manager. But when you combine that with our analyst portal and with our advanced request offering and our dashboard builder, you see that you get a lot more. And you can see from the watch list and the announcements, the ability to change the announcements, that we're always improving and we're always adding functionality to our portal. So that is it for the demonstration, and I am going to go and discuss what we have upcoming. As soon as I get... So let's talk about the Cireson community. I said that was going to be important earlier. Earlier this year, we created a website. It's a forum-based website called the Cireson community for our partners and our clients and customers and pretty much anybody that's interested in System Center in general to be able to come in here and collaborate and go ahead and talk about what Cireson does with asset management, service management, Microsoft System Center, the cloud, and what our customers and what our partners are doing. So it's a very collaborative website to be able to use. One of the really big significant things about this Cireson community website is we have a section in it to request features or improvements to the applications that Cireson provides. What I just showed you in the demonstration, the watch list capability of the Cireson portal and the ability to give other users using Active Directory access to be able to create and manage announcements, those came from the Cireson community. So those were actually feature requests. So not only do you have a feature request, can you submit a feature request, but you can actually vote on it, and the more votes it gets, the more attention it gets. So our developers look at this website constantly for innovative ideas that come from our customers and our partners, and see what kind of demand we have for those ideas and incorporate those high demand ideas into our development cycle and our next versions of the portal. So the Cireson community from a development standpoint and from a kind of a roadmap standpoint is a huge part of who we are and what we do at Cireson. But at the same time, I see a lot of customers help each other solve their problems, come to the aid of different people. Our employees are constantly in there helping people answer questions. So it's a big resource that Cireson provides to the community. So this is one of our upcoming applications. It's called our Cireson Lifecycle Management App for Service Manager. This application is getting a lot of attention because what it's designed to do is give you the ability to do a seamless migration either from Service Manager 2012 to 2016, or to be able to copy settings, management packs, configuration items, and work items from one instance of Service Manager to another, specifically from production to development. So if you want to make your development environment mirror of your production environment, this app can do this for you, and it's very easy to use. It's a simple form-based executable that you run. You set the settings on it, and you have the ability to be able to hit begin migration, and it'll copy settings, it'll copy the management pack, sealed and unsealed, it'll copy DLL files, and it'll do all of this intelligently, meaning if the target already has a DLL or management pack or something that exists and it's a more recent version, then it won't copy over an outdated version and overwrite the more recent version from the source to the target server. This application was developed by one of our top consultants. So not only do we have a range of extremely smart developers, but we have a range of extremely smart consultants that can also contribute to the applications that Cireson provides. But we have gotten, especially with the release, I believe it was in September of Microsoft's Service Manager 2016, we've gotten a lot of interest in this application because a lot of people want to leverage having to migrate from 2012 to 2016. Instead of doing an in-place upgrade, they want to take this time to be able to use a migration, to have a clean, fresh install of Service Manager, to be able to audit their processes and see what's been working, what isn't working, and take the opportunity to be able to get a cleaner and more efficient environment. And this application will help on that. So if you have any questions, go to Cireson.com and be able and go to the lifecycle management and fill out the form, and we'll get back to you with more information. The next huge application that we have coming up, and I alluded to this a little earlier in the webinar, is the amazing, easy to use, intuitive, and easily customizable portal that I just showed you, web-based portal that I just showed you for Service Manager. We're building for Configuration Manager. So right now there is no real web-based console for Configuration Manager. We are giving you the ability to provide that. We're going to use the same technology, give you the ability to make it available anywhere at any time, be able to get to ConfigMan data directly to see inventory, see collection memberships, to be able to do one-to-one computer to software deployments, to be able to do operating system deployments and management, to be able to utilize MDT migrations or integration for migrations and deployment, to be able to set up deployment templates to make it easier to have desktop support or other people do on-the-spot deployments. What we do is we bring role-based administration to make sure that only people that need certain functionality get functionality in this one web portal, depending on who they are and what groups they're a member of, and we give you the ability to have a built-in report viewer. Right now, we've opened up a sign-up sheet for first priority access, and right here I put a web page for bit.ly at bit.ly/config manager portal. Don't forget that CMP have to be capitalized in this for the link to be able to work. But if you want to sign up to get to do so, because this is something that is going to be really cool. And here's one of the reasons why. Right now, the only person that is in the Config Manager console, and the only person that ever really wants to be in the Config Manager console, is the Configuration Manager admin. For the most part, that's what they're going to stick with. But there are portions of Configuration Manager that can benefit pretty much every type of role in your IT environment. So desktop support, ConfigMan admin, the service desk analyst, server support, a manager, director, CIO, anybody at the management level, and security and applications. We are now providing the ability for all these people to utilize the effectiveness and the efficiency of Configuration Manager to different roles for different people, using a web-based portal that they can get to from anywhere without having to turn around and install the local ConfigMan console all over the place in your environment. We're bringing that to you using our Config Manager portal. Our release is scheduled for January. Again, you can sign up at bit.ly/config manager portal, capital C, capital M, capital P, and you're really going to be impressed with what this thing can do. And you're really going to want it as part of your tool set to be able to really make service management and even asset management easy to use. You know, it doesn't provide a lot of, you don't need a lot of training to be able to use this thing. It's very intuitive. So if you want more information about that, if you want to sign up for, you know, the priority access, or if you want us to schedule a demo for us, then you can go to Cireson.com and fill out the form, and we'll get you set up. And here are some other webinar resources. The recording of this webinar can be found at vimeo.com/Team Cireson. You can join the community at community.cireson.com. Again, if you want to check out our Inc. 500 listing, you can check that out here at bit.ly/Cireson Inc. 500. check out our products. You see our support page at support.cireson.com. Or if you think you have what it takes to join the Cireson team, you can click cireson.com careers and see if you're a fit, because I'm going to tell you right now, every member of this organization are the best people I've ever worked with. So it's a great team to join. So any other questions and comments, you can email us at any time at team@cireson.com. So now this is the point in the webinar to where we can answer all the questions that we still have outstanding. So I'm going to bring that up, and I'm going to look at the questions, and let's see if we have anything that is outstanding. And Mike Adinovich, who is helping me out on this webinar, hopefully has been answering some of these. And if not, actually, let me pull this out. Oh, here we go. So let's look. Yeah, Mike's been very busy. So at this time, are there any other questions that haven't been answered by Mike thus far?
Hi, Billy. There was this is Mike Adinovich. Pleasure to meet everyone. There was one question asked. This was asked by Clay. Great question. Clay would like to know if the advanced request offering is available a la carte, or does it need to be purchased in a stream? Great question. And the short answer to that is yes, it could be purchased either way. It could be purchased a la carte, as well as in a stream, whether that be the service management or the business management stream. So again, great question. Hopefully that answers your question there, Clay. If there's other questions, please do feel free to ask away. You do have time from Billy and I. Think of it as an open forum to just throw questions our way.
Absolutely. Anyone? I know that Mike, I see here that Mike's already answered quite a few questions, which I'm sure other people had interest in, not just the people that are asking the questions, but here's your opportunity to go ahead and hit us with whatever came to mind during this demo. I hope this webinar was useful to you. A lot of great stuff coming up. Just keep your eyes on Cireson. I've shown you a taste of some of the stuff that we have coming out, but we have so much more. 2017 is going to be a really busy and a really productive year for us, and we're going to really bring a lot more to the table. So, stay tuned. We'll hang on for just another minute or so to see if any other questions come in. Well, I guess that's it. So again, thank you everybody for joining. Thank you, Michael, for helping me out, and for everybody still on the call, have a wonderful holiday season. Be safe, and we'll see you in 2017.